Well, hello there and welcome. This is Jennifer. So glad you're here. Today I'm talking about liquid glue. Now, if you've watched my videos, you know I'm a big fan of strong liquid adhesive, and there are a few reasons. One is it's more cost effective than other forms of adhesive. Another is that you get that wiggle room time with liquid adhesive that you don't get with other forms of adhesive. You can wiggle it till you're in just the right spot, straight and in perfect position. Another reason I like to use strong liquid adhesive is because you can get really precise placement of liquid glue. And that is what today's video is all about, precision glue placement. I'm going to show you a few options so you know some things that work really well. Some I've been using in videos for a long time, and one is a new option. I thought I would just do a little comparison so you can find what might work best for you. Now let's first start by talking about the adhesive or the liquid glue that I really like the most, and that is the Gina K Connect liquid adhesive. I've been using this for years and I trust it. I trust that it'll hold well, and I trust that it will always give great results. Now there are two different sizes of Connect glue available, the smaller bottle on the left, which has a slightly smaller tip, and the larger bottle in the middle. Now what I prefer to do is get the larger bottle in the middle and fill it into that fine tip bottle that you see on the right. I will talk more about this fine tip bottle and different ways to kind of cap it off a little bit later in this video, but first let's focus on the Gina K Connect liquid glue. Now, if you have this large bottle here, all you need to do is apply it directly to your paper. Now this will give you a bigger line of glue unless you're really careful and just squeeze it very lightly, and then you can get a lighter line of glue. Here's a closer look of what I was able to get with this large bottle. You can see it gives great results. You can definitely use this bottle, but I prefer the fine tip bottle, which again I'll show you in a moment. There's also the small bottle of Gina K Connect that's been out for many, many years. And you can see that you can also get pretty good precision placement with this also. And there you can see some of the adhesive I was able to squeeze out. You can do a thick line or a thin line. But as I've mentioned and shown many times in videos, I prefer using the Gina K Connect liquid adhesive in the fine tip bottles. I believe the bottles come 3 per pack from Gina K. You just take the top off of it and then you fill it from the larger bottle. So I keep this larger bottle. Whenever I need a refill, I just take the cap off and squeeze it in. It's super fast to fill, doesn't take much effort. So once I've filled the fine tip bottle, I can put the cap back onto it. So this has a super fine tip to it. With this bottle, you definitely want to keep a cap on it so that air doesn't get into that nozzle, because that's what will cause it to dry out. Now it comes with this little rubber stopper. Now it's intended to take that circle part that you see there hanging off the side and put that around the bottle itself or the neck of the nozzle. That way the little cap is always attached. You just remove that little cap when you want to apply the adhesive, and when you're done, you just put that little cap on, and that'll keep it from drying out. Now another option is to take this little rubber stopper thingy and put it on the bottle upside down. And that causes the little thing sticking out with the cap to kind of face towards you and not dangle as much on your project. So you can see it kind of stays out of the way more. Again, you can hook that around the bottle or the nozzle, just whatever works for you. And you can still just take that cap, twist it, and put it on top, and that'll keep it safely sealed. And another way you can use this little rubber stopper but kind of keep it out of the way is to put a rubber band around the bottle, which will hold like that long part of the stopper. I guess you would call it maybe a stem of the stopper. It'll hold it to the bottle. That way it's kind of out of the way when you're not using it. So you can see how the little cap is down towards the base, so it won't get in the way as you're applying the glue. But when you want to put the cap on, you just stretch it up and hook it right onto the nozzle, and it won't dry out. Now, what I usually do is the option you see on the left. I just keep that little rubber stopper separate from the bottle. I put it on, as you see here, when I'm not using it. When I want to use it, I just take the little cap off and then apply it, then put the rubber stopper back on. Whatever works best for you. Now this will give you fine tip precision. See that fine line of adhesive? I put it just around the edges very quickly, not a lot, just thin lines, and then I can put it onto my paper, and I've got that wiggle room time to make sure I get it placed where I want it. And then once I have it placed where I want it, I usually put something heavy on it while it dries. I have this Paperweight, but you could use absolutely anything you want just to hold it there. I recommend doing this with any liquid glue just to make sure that you have that good contact as it dries. Now this glue does not take that long to dry, and you can be sure that it'll hold very nicely. So a little goes a long way with the Gina K Connect glue. Now there are lots of great liquid glues out there. This happens to be my favorite, but you could definitely get these precision bottles and put whatever liquid glue you prefer inside if you have a different favorite. But if you're looking for a favorite, I recommend the Gina K Connect. So this is the system I've been using for a long time for liquid glue. And let me show you how much I apply, because a lot of times people ask and it's sometimes hard to see in video. This is how much I would put down on a back of a card panel to adhere it onto a note card. You can see I go around the edges and kind of an X in the middle. That is plenty of liquid glue. I don't squeeze a lot out, so it's just a thin line, but that is really all you need to hold this together. You've got that wiggle room time to get the placement just right, and then it'll dry nice and secure. And regardless of what type of liquid glue you use, always put the cap back on right away to prevent it from getting clogged up or getting too thick. By the way, there is another option. If you don't like that little rubber cap, you could instead use a stainless steel pin. I know some people like to do this. I much prefer using the little rubber stopper thingy, but you definitely could use a stainless steel pin. Just make sure it's stainless steel so it doesn't get stuck in there. And that will kind of serve as a cap that will keep air from getting inside. So that's a little rundown on the Gina K Connect liquid glue and the fine tip bottles that I've been using for a long time, and I highly, highly recommend. It's been on my favorites list before, and I think you see these in every video that I do. However, there is a new precision applicator that is available that I wanted to share with you. It really depends on your needs. It depends on how you like to apply glue. It depends on your hands. For example, I have a bad shoulder, so I've recently switched to really just using electric die cut machines. I know some people have issues with their hands, so having different options is a good thing also. And if you have problems with your liquid glue clogging, this next tool may be helpful to you. So this is the new precision glue press from My Sweet Petunia. They're the folks who created the Misty stamping tool that many crafters love. Now this will allow you to apply precise amounts of liquid glue, but in a different way of squeezing the glue out. Now in this box, it's nice because it's a small box and there's not much packaging to it, but in it you get the glue press, you get a full bottle of glue, you get an empty bottle of glue, and you get 2 different nozzle sizes. So there are a lot of ways you can use this, and I'm going to show you how I found works best for me. So here is the glue press and the stand. Now the key part to this whole system is in the stand. You see that little red silicone stopper there? That's what keeps the glue from drying out, but you don't need to put a cap on it. So you can see as I tilt it here that the nozzle of that glue bottle actually touches that red silicone stopper. So that seals it off and keeps air from getting in. So you don't have to put the lid on it. And that also means it will not get clogged. Now the glue press itself is that handle that you see there, and it has a bottle of glue inside of it, and that easily comes out. Now this is Tonic Nouveau glue, which is a great liquid glue, and the cap has a little needle in it. So when you put that cap on, the needle goes into the nozzle and keeps it from getting clogged. Now when you want to use it with the glue press, you just take that cap off, pop it into the glue press, and you can see there's a little place there on the stand where you can put that cap so you don't lose it if you wanted to keep it for some reason. Now the bottle just clicks right in. You want to make sure you press it all the way in, and then when you want to squeeze it out, you squeeze on the red handle. When you don't want to be using the glue, you just pop it right into the stand and you don't have to worry about putting a lid on it. It will seal against that little red stopper and you don't have to worry about it drying out or getting clogged. Now the Precision Glue Press comes with the press and stand, but it also comes with these 2 bottles. This is the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. One of these bottles is full and one of them is empty. The advantage of the empty bottle is that if you have a different favorite liquid adhesive, you can put it in this bottle and use it with the glue press. So I put Gina K Connect in one of these Nuvo bottles here so that I have that ready to go. That just happens to be my old trusted favorite adhesive, so I'm using the Gina K Connect in the glue press. Now also, these 2 bottles have 2 different tips. One is precision and one is fine precision. Now the fine precision is the one that looks like a white lid. The regular precision is the one that looks like a gray. So here's a comparison. The gray is a little bit bigger, it's the precision. The white on the right is the fine precision. I prefer the fine precision, but both really give you a lot of control on how much adhesive you put down. And some people like more adhesive, so the precision or bigger nozzle may be best for you. So here's a look at that bigger precision tip and then the fine precision tip. Totally up to you. You can also control how much you squeeze it, but this is how the bottles work here. So again, the glue press comes with 2 bottles of adhesive. One is filled and one is empty. And there are 2 different tips. One's precision and one is fine precision. And you can switch them up how you want. What you will see me use in my videos is the Gina K Connect liquid adhesive that I put into one of these empty bottles, and then the fine tip on top. Now these do both have caps if you want to keep them separate from your glue press, but again, if you use the glue press in the stand, you don't need to use the lid because it will just pop right against that little red silicone stopper and not dry out. So I'm just going to play around with it a little bit here. And as I am applying this onto my paper, notice how you use the glue press. You just squeeze that red handle and the glue will come out. So the glue press squeezes the bottle as you squeeze the handle. And it doesn't take a whole lot of pressure. It's a very light squeeze that's needed. If you squeeze it harder, more glue will come out. If you squeeze it lighter, a lighter line of glue will come out. Now those lines I just did were with the precision tip, which is the bigger of the 2. I'm going to switch now to the finer tip so you can get a comparison. Now earlier I showed you how the fine tip bottle from Gina K works. You can see it's a very similar line of adhesive with the glue press. It's just 2 different ways of squeezing a bottle. Before you just squeeze with your fingers on the side of the small bottle. Here you're squeezing with that red handle. Totally a personal preference. I wish you guys could reach in the video and try them yourselves to do a comparison. It's hard to tell you the comparison. All I can say is that both don't require much pressure. It just depends on your hands or how you apply the glue itself. And I'll talk more about that in a moment. But again, I have Gina K Connect liquid adhesive in this bottle here. You can just take the Gina K large bottle and pop it right into the glue press, but it doesn't fit in as well. And I figured it's best to use what came with the glue press. That's why I squeezed the Gina K Connect out of the large bottle into the empty bottle that the glue press came with. Now here is one difference. It's kind of an odd difference, but I think it's worth noting. Some people, when they apply liquid glue, pick up their paper, as I'm doing here, and apply the glue onto it. Both of the fine tip bottle I showed you earlier and the glue press work great for that. However, if you like to lay your paper onto your work surface and rest your hand on your work surface as you're squeezing the glue out, it's a little bit trickier with the glue press because that red handle sticks out the bottom. So you kind of have to tilt your hand sideways as you squeeze it if you want to rest your hand and the paper on your work surface as you squeeze. It's kind of hard to describe, but see, you can just do it here by taking your hand and going straight across. But if you want to rest or steady your hand against the work surface, you kind of go at an angle. With the fine tip bottle, that's not a problem. You can rest and steady your hand as you squeeze it, no problem. So that is one little difference, but I think really it's just getting used to whatever tool you choose. So in summary, we are lucky to have two great options for getting fine precision placement of glue. The first option is the Gina K Connect fine tip precision bottles. Again, those come 3 in a pack, empty. You can put whatever glue you want in them, and I prefer the Gina K Connect glue. These fine tip bottles are inexpensive, very handy, easy to use, and they're tried and true. I've used them for a very long time. And now we have the new precision glue press. This is handy because you have that stand and you don't have to worry about a cap. After you're done using it, you just pop it in the stand and it'll seal off so it doesn't dry out. And you can put whatever glue in this that you want. I put my Gina K Connect in here because I like it so much, but you can use whatever you prefer. So we have these two great systems that allow us to get precision placement of whatever liquid glue we prefer. I will say I like them both. I'm going to use both in my videos, and I think it's nice to have different options available. So I wanted to do this video because you're going to be seeing me use the glue press some. You'll still see me use the fine tip bottle some, and I just wanted you to know that they're both great options. I'm very thankful for a crafty industry that gives us so many great options so that we can create better and enjoy the process even more. Now, if you're looking for more information on these products, I have them linked below in my YouTube description. And at the end, I will link to a couple other videos where I talk about my favorite glues. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Have a wonderful week.